As the economy comes off its recent sugar high, it seems like it's in a good but funny place. Saw a poll this week that 67% of Americans think the housing market's going to crash this year, and that's exactly why it won't happen. Jobs, are my favorite thing. We got a big problem. The robots are coming for them. And mortgage rates, hanging tough at the 350 10-year Treasury yield. This is great for housing. Welcome back to This Week in Mortgage, everybody. My name is Sam Battagna, your favorite mortgage broker here in California at Guaranteed Rate in Beverly Hills. Hope you're having a good week. All right, so the economy, some interesting numbers. GDP seems healthy enough to keep us moving forward. Jobless claims, the headline number is good, but I don't understand it because we've heard about all these layoffs recently, hundreds of thousands for that matter. We'll see if those people are just waiting to come outside after the initial shock of losing their jobs and apply for those jobless claims. Unemployment rate looks good, 50-year low, but again, I've always questioned that number. Who's included? Who's allowed to be counted? Those numbers are always suspect to me, but we'll take them at their face value. Inflation is way down. I don't have to tell you this. Go to the grocery store, go get gas, go buy some, go to the store. A lot of stuff's on sale. So inflation's coming down a lot. And the main thing that the Federal Reserve should take a peek at next week in their meeting, which they're probably going to raise 1/4 of a point, consumer spending is down, which is something that they did not anticipate. As I mentioned over the last year, the consumer does not have an endless spigot supply of money, and that will turn off at some point. Couple the jobs market. Let's hope the Federal Reserve can read the tea leaves next week at their meeting. They're probably going to raise 1/4%. They can do whatever they want. Raise 1/4, a half, a whole. It won't matter. I bet you the 10-year Treasury and mortgage rates come down after the Federal Reserve does what they do next week, regardless of it. But we will, of course, see. On to housing. Interesting poll I saw this week. 67% of Americans think housing is going to crash this year. That is exactly why housing is not going to crash this year, and now it actually helps me understand that housing is going to maintain itself and probably appreciate a little bit because, as we know, nobody knows anything, and when 67% of the people that don't know anything get together and have an idea, it's usually wrong. Otherwise, everybody would be a billionaire. So the contrarian in me says housing is better than most think. And some proof in the pudding here. Talked to a lot of my agents this week. Busy open houses last weekend. And a number of them have told me that multiple offers are back. What do you know? All right, so we take a look at that poll once again that I'm picking on here. If you took that same poll in the beginning of 2020, I guarantee it wouldn't have been 67% of Americans saying housing is going to crash in the beginning of 2020. It probably would have been 97% of Americans would have thought that. And we, of course, value home values and shelter values hit an all-time high in the last few years. So again, nobody knows anything, and the contrarian in me thinks that housing is going to be healthy this year because everyone thinks it's not. And mortgage rates are settling down, which is, of course, all I talk about, which is great for the housing market and affordability and consumer appetite. All right, moving on to jobs. These jobs are being taken by the robots, artificial intelligence. I'll tell you, I don't know if you've seen it this week. I saw a couple of news stories that had robots doing manual labor, that had robots doing things that I didn't think a robot could move like a human, but now it can. Let me tell you something. The companies in this world that we all work at are all making huge initial investments in artificial intelligence. When I say huge, it's probably going to be their biggest expense in the next few years. And it's because robots are the dream employee, the perfect worker. Number one, after the initial investment, other than putting some plugging them in, they don't get paid, so there's no payroll. Number two, there's no HR, there's no labor laws. I don't think that robots are going to unionize anytime soon until the intelligence is smarter than us and they take over, but that's not for another 75 years or so. But there's no HR, there's no labor laws. There's no time off for a robot. Just keep that thing plugged in and charged. There's no vacations for a robot. None. Doesn't need to go get a tan to feel good. And they can work 24/7, literally, because there's no labor laws. Manual labor, when I saw this robot moving around the other day, I was amazed. I'm starting to think that not only your job that does not require emotion going to be gone, but your jobs that require physical activity are going to be gone to these robots, because they can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Once again, they are the dream employee. So watch out, everybody. You should admire your job right now. And again, every company that can eliminate your job through artificial intelligence will. And here's the problem with that. Let me tie it back to the housing market. Robots don't buy houses. Robots don't buy food. Robots don't buy cars. Robots don't have credit cards. Robots don't buy clothes. Robots don't do anything but their intended purpose, which is work. So the reason I talk about this is because if our workforce becomes a bunch of robots, the housing market's going to suffer and the economy is going to suffer. So watch out, everybody. Artificial intelligence is here. On to mortgage rates, my favorite thing on the planet. Another week, another pivot at 350, hanging tough. It's not even noon here in California on Friday, so the markets aren't closed yet. But I think the 10-year is around 352 last I checked in. And the 10-year Treasury likes how this 350 ceiling just about feels. We'll see if it pops back down by the end of the day or next week, but it really likes it. And the longer the stability holds at these levels, where we don't have these jerky moves, especially up, more risk-based pricing is going to come out of mortgage rates, which will naturally bring interest rates down. And also, the more stability we get, it's going to bring more lenders back into the market to compete each other in a race to the bottom, similar to what we had over the last few years. Okay, everybody, that is my show for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, any mortgage-related questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Once again, it's a weekend. Enjoy each other. Take care of each other. Please be safe. And as always, thank you for watching.